It's been several months since we last saw several WWE superstars on live TV. Those names include Sheamus, Rusev, the Street Profits, and Santos Escobar. The last time we saw Sheamus in WWE, it was in New York City in a six-man tag team match when he WWE Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio and the then Intercontinental Champion, the greatest of all time, John Cena, battled the Judgment Day's Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Finn Balor in a winning effort against the Judgment Day. And that was the last time we saw the Celtic Warrior. Rusev, on the other hand, the last time we saw him, he competed in the last time is now tournament in a losing effort, I believe, against Jey Uso, which did not bode well for the Bulgarian Brute. The Street Profits were last seen on TV on SmackDown back in October when they challenged for the WWE Tag Team titles against the Wyatt Six in a losing effort against the said Wyatts. Now, as far as Santos Escobar goes, the last time we saw him, it was right around it was right around the beginning, right around midsummer last year in 2025, when he found out that his boys, Angel and Berto, were going to be a part of the AAA brand representing WWE. But where are they now? What has happened to these guys, and when can we expect them to come back to live TV? Well, let's start with Rusev. Rusev, as I said, had went on a tear on a tear when he returned to WWE. Excuse me. The night after WrestleMania in Las Vegas. At that point, he had went up against guys like Akira Tozawa, Otis, among others. However, over time, Rusev's popularity kind of went down, and now fans are curious of why. Why has Rusev not made an appearance on live TV? Well, the answer is pretty obvious, and if you hadn't figured it out already, excuse me. Sorry guys, bad cough. Anyway, as I was saying, if you guys had not have figured it out already, it all has to do with one thing. Creatively speaking, there is no storyline for Rusev. The only storyline that was available for Rusev was in the Last Time Is Now tournament, where the general managers of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, and Ava, handpicked the best of the best to go at it for the right to become John Cena's last opponent ever in professional wrestling. The tournament ended up being won by none other than Gunther, who made John Cena tap out, literally. And now fans are livid by the fact that Gunther has decided to tell the world that he made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. And I don't see it that way. Obviously, you guys don't see it either, and even you guys know that the only reason why he did tap out was because he knew that his time was up. It was over. There was nothing more for him to do. He did everything that he set out to do, and he also finally became a Grand Slam champion. Of course, too, he could have been an Ultimate Grand Slam champion if he had lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. If that were to have been the case, then John Cena could have won King of the Ring and he would have won the WWE title at SummerSlam, but obviously things worked out just a little bit differently, just a little bit. Now, as far as again going back with Rusev, there really was nothing going on for him whatsoever. The only other match that he had been a part of in the latter stages of 2025 was the triple threat match for the said Intercontinental title, which now is being held by Dominic Mysterio, as he defended the title against both Rusev and Penta in that triple threat at Saturday night's main event. So the question now becomes, what's next for Rusev? Well, the way I see it, I have a feeling that 2026 is going to be the year of the Bulgarian Brute, where he finally becomes a champion once again in WWE. The last championship he ever held in WWE was his third United States title, which he won, I believe, in 2019. Was it? Excuse me. Yeah, I want to say 2019. It was either in 2019 or 2020. It was one or the other. Luckily, I still have my old book. The very first book I ever used for my PLEs. So I want to check 2019. Yeah, it was 2020. It was 2019. I do remember that fondly. It was Rusev's last title was indeed the was indeed the U.S. title, where he lost the title to Shinsuke Nakamura, but that did not last long, as R-Truth became champion, but ultimately lost the title to Samoa Joe later on. So yeah, that was it. That was the last time he ever became champion in WWE. And I will say, looking on his career in WWE, as I was trying to put my books back, looking on his time in WWE the first time around, he had more success, he had more TV time, and that was because of the fact that he pushed WWE to get him on TV. Nowadays he hasn't done that whatsoever. But I've got a feeling that for Rusev, we could be seeing him back in the ring more often than expected. Now, as far as Sheamus goes, again, obviously it was that 6-man tag, and he was even also a part of the Last Time Is Now tournament, where I believe he lost in the first round, I believe, and it did not bode well for Sheamus after that. But that was it. That was the last time, and no pun intended. And that was it. Like, that was like we never saw Sheamus after that. Like, right now, I believe both Rusev and Sheamus are currently doing the European tour that WWE is doing right now. So there is that. However, we really don't know how much time Sheamus has left in the ring, because I know for a fact that Sheamus wants one thing and one thing only, and it's not to be a world champion because he's already done that. He's already done that like five, 6 times already. He doesn't need to win a world title. He only needs one thing, and that one thing is the Intercontinental Championship, now currently being held by Dominic Mysterio. So I have no doubt in my mind that Dominic Mysterio could walk into WrestleMania this year as the Intercontinental Champion, and I think we could be seeing a moment for Sheamus where he finally wins the title at WrestleMania, which it has to happen. It has to happen before Sheamus retires, and we could see it. We could very may well see that. But again, we haven't seen much of Sheamus at all since the 6-man tag, and no one really knows like why. Honestly, some people believe that Sheamus has been injured. Some people believe that he got injured during that 6-man tag, which if he did, then obviously we can expect Sheamus to come back sometime between now and potentially either the night of the Royal Rumble or possibly after the Royal Rumble, which odds are it'll probably take place in the men's Royal Rumble match, but we will have to wait and see. Now, as far as the Street Profits go, 2025 was a pretty interesting year for the Street Profits. They finally became tag team champions. They weren't even scheduled to be on the card for WrestleMania. Like, they were not booked for WrestleMania, which was kind of BS because when it came to WrestleMania, they shine brighter like no other tag team could ever do. And the crazy thing is that WrestleMania 39 here in my hometown of LA is the exact proof because they defeated 3 other tag teams, which I believe were the War Raiders, Alpha Academy, and if I remember correctly, the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet to win the WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Match in an incredible matchup. That was an instant classic. But 2025, again, they became tag team champions. They defended the titles in an incredible ladder match, which became an instant classic. But ever since they lost the tag titles to the Wyatt Six, and ever since they lost their return match against the Wyatts, we hadn't seen much of them at all. Like, I know that that Montez Ford's wife Bianca Belair had posted photos of her and Tez together, at spots like the Golden Globes, the Emmys, and whatnot. But that's just it, right? Like that was all that we ever saw about Ford in any capacity. But as far as Dawkins, again, we could be looking at a moment in time where we finally get to see the Street Profits go their separate ways, and they both become top baby faces in WWE, and they could ultimately reunite and become tag team champions again, kind of like what the Usos did for the last several years now, which ultimately started at WrestleMania 39, where they lost the tag team titles in the main event of night 1 against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Once the tag titles left the Bloodline, it was just all downhill from there. Roman stayed, Roman stayed on top, but that was just it, right? Like, Roman had lost arguably one of the biggest matches of his career in 2023, which was the Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank. In London, England, inside the O2, which brought the fans to question if Roman Reigns was going to lose the title later on that year. Nope, he ended up losing the title at WrestleMania 40 a couple of years ago to Cody Rhodes. And excuse me, even I have to admit that the Street Profits, we could be looking at that moment, right? We could be seeing a moment in time where the Street Profits pulled the same stunt that the Usos did. They fight each other, they become tag team champions again. That could happen. And 2026 could be the year, that the Street Profits could return and ultimately regain those tag team titles, but they could also go their separate ways as well. But as far as now moving on to Santos Escobar, and here's the thing, right? Like, I talked about it in one of my videos from last year. I talked about how Santos Escobar got released of his contract with WWE. However, what it didn't occur to me is that reports had read that Santos Escobar had signed a new deal with WWE. And now fans are wondering if Santos Escobar is truly going to come back to WWE, or if the rumors of him signing a new deal was just all bullshit, and he's gonna end up in a different promotion, like potentially TNA, maybe GCW, maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Noah. There are so many different scenarios that could happen with Santos Escobar. But let's be real, Santos Escobar dreamt of wanting to be in WWE. I mean, the guy idolized Rey Mysterio and even worked with him as part of the LWO, the Latino World Order, which was led by Rey. But once guys like Carlito left and joined the Judgment Day, and once Santos Escobar turned heel and reformed Legado del Fantasma with Angel Umberto, and also bringing in Electro Lopez, everything just went downhill for the LWO. And the only success that the LWO ever had was Rey Mysterio becoming a 3-time United States champion. That was it. That was the only moment of success that the LWO ever had. And I think it's pretty safe to say that Santos Escobar, if he does return to WWE this year in 2026, he could become a big threat to that very same U.S. title, which is now being held by Carmelo Hayes. And let's not forget the battles that those two had in NXT, especially over the Cruiserweight title, especially over the NXT Cruiserweight title and the NXT North American title. Woohoo! We could be seeing some magic with that one. Almost as much magic as we saw with on SmackDown last night when Carmelo Hayes defended the title against the TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. That was an instant classic. Just high-flying ability at its finest. So only time will tell. It's hard to say what we can expect from these guys. But one thing that I can say is that 2026 is going to be a very interesting year for WWE, because right now Cody Rhodes is the only person that declared his name for the Royal Rumble, so he could potentially do the three-peat, and it ain't gonna be pretty. I know that there are a lot of fans who don't want to see Cody go for 3, but when you look at it, there's a reason why Cody became QB1 of WWE. Why he became WWE champion in the first place is because the fans wanted something different. They wanted something new out of WWE that wasn't Roman Reigns, taking the title home and showing up, whenever he wants. They needed a fighting champion who didn't need to rely on any backup to help him retain the WWE title. Like, Bloodline rules against Solo Sikoa, that was one thing, because we knew that Solo was going to have the Bloodline back him up. That was one thing. But just in general, Cody was the guy. And I think Cody could potentially be the guy again. In fact, for all we know, Cody Rhodes could potentially be the Stone Cold Steve Austin of modern day professional wrestling in WWE. But we will have to wait and see. But as far as those 5 superstars go, who knows? I mean, 2026, we could see them back in the ring. For all we know, they could end up getting released. The possibilities are out there. But with that being said, that'll do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.